Ben and I, we're going to take a quiz online. If you want to take this quiz, you just need to click the link in my bio and it'll take you straight to it. You can try and, just see what you get. Don't feel bad if you get a, result that is just probably not where you thought you were. It's all about working towards just self-improvement and improving ourselves. So do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
Yeah, I can go first.
All
So basically
right.
it says here, for each of the statements below, move the scale marker to indicate if how much you agree or disagree with it. If you're not currently in a relationship or have never been in a relationship, think about how you have acted in previous relationships or how you would act in a future one. Okay. So I'm currently not in a relationship, so I would go based on the previous relationships.
Right.
Although I've
Okay.
learned some stuff that I'd probably act differently in the future, but I'll go
In
based
the
on,
future.
yeah, but I'll
Yeah.
go based
So,
on previous. Okay.
okay.
All right. So
Do you want me
ready?
to ask you the questions?
Yeah, you can ask me the questions. Do you want to move the scale or do you want me to move the scale? Oh, I'll move the scale. It'll
Um,
be easier for me to move the scale.
okay, cool.
Oh, okay. No. If you have the visual there, you can move it
Yeah, you
for
could
me
tell
then.
me like where to move it,
Yes.
however.
Yeah, perfect.
First question, do you worry a lot about ending up alone? Do you
Yes, strongly agree. Take that about 80% to the left.
like
To the right.
so?
Sorry, to the right. More than that. No. You got to go strongly agree.
Right, so more like this.
Yes, correct. Right there.
Okay,
Perfect.
cool, cool. All right, next one. Says I don't really right. So do you worry about your significant other leaving you? Or
Yes,
no, 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 no. It says I don't really worry about my significant other leaving me. So is that true or false or neutral or what?
that is false. So um, I disagree.
Right.
About 50%. So halfway.
Halfway.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Do you worry that your significant other doesn't love you as much as you love them?
Um, I would say I agree with that about 50%.
Okay. That's 50, yeah. All right. Have you scared off partners or potential partners by trying to get too close too fast?
No, strongly disagree. Usually the opposite. I'm actually,
Okay.
yeah, usually the opposite.
I have a hard time. Do you have a hard time asking your significant other for help or comfort?
I agree with that. Maybe take that about a quarter to the right.
Tell me when to stop.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Do you get scared of letting your significant other know your deepest feelings?
Yes. Take that to the right. I'll let you know when to stop. Right there. Take it
Okay.
back a little bit. That was a little too much. Go back, go back, go back, go back. Right there.
Okay, cool. All right. Do you crave emotional closeness in a relationship, but often find yourself pulling back?
Yes. Correct. Strongly agree. 50%.
I strongly agree, 50%. That's good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well, it means either
Oh,
strongly
shoot.
disagree. Oh, I see what's happening here. The strongly agree is the end of the spectrum. Okay, fair enough.
So is leave it there?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, cool. All right. So being in a relationship isn't important to me. I could take it or leave it. How do you feel about that?
I don't. Hmm. Can we leave that one? Let's say that's a strongly disagree, but not like just a little bit to the
Like
left.
a notch, like a little tups,
Yeah, a little bit. Just a
like
little.
that.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Do you feel happy, loved, and totally secure in your previous relationships, in your relationships, however?
Yeah, I would say I felt completely happy, loved, and secured during the relationship.
Okay, so strongly agree.
You can take that all the way.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Dismissive, avoidant. So it
Really?
says, so it says you're pretty comfortable with yourself, but you have a hard time letting other people in. You really value your independence and don't like to rely on anyone but yourself. You don't deal well with confrontation and you struggle with making yourself vulnerable. Sometimes you think relationships aren't worth the trouble. Is that true?
I think subconsciously that's true, but I think on a conscious level, I am trying to make an effort uh, to not be the dismissive avoidant. So that's why I thought I was anxious, preoccupied.
Oh,
You understand what I mean? From a conscious
yeah.
level. I
Well,
think I'm
but
making
then
an
what do you
effort.
think is anxious, preoccupied then?
Well,
Like just,
as I made a few notes, it was basically sensitive to rejection. I don't
right.
like rejection. In fact, that's probably why I don't even really, uh, when I go out socially and I'm single, I don't ever approach women because I don't want to be rejected.
Hmm.
Emotionally on a, what did I write here? Can't even understand my own handwriting. Emotionally unavailable.
Hmm.
I've been told that in the past. That usually happens at the beginning of the relationship, but as time
Hmm.
progresses, I
Yeah.
become more open.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then constant reassurance. That's
Hmm.
one thing that I struggle with. I kind of need that constant reassurance, especially in the form of a check in
Yeah.
during the course of the day. You know what I mean, like a
Yeah.
call,
Yeah.
a text, whatever. But
Hmm.
but that fell underneath the term anxious, preoccupied, not under
Hmm.
dismissive, avoidant.
Hmm.
Dismissive,
So what
avoidant. If I Mhm.
hmm No, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
As far as I made to understand, dismissive avoidant is more like you see everything kind of negative. You see people as negative, right?
Mm, I
Or
don't think you
are
see it
they?
as no, I don't think that you see it as negative. I think that you just avoid it because it's just easier.
Okay.
You're kind of protecting yourself emotionally because you don't want to have to go through, the fear of rejection and all those feelings. Because as it says, you're pretty comfortable with yourself, but you have a hard time letting other people in to really be vulnerable then with other people.
hmm
Um, yeah.
See, it also
So
depends on what's going on
in
in the individual's life as well. That makes this more complicated.
yeah.
Um, I I guess I maybe don't open up as much
Hmm.
because of the same. Sorry, can you define that again as you said earlier? I had a train of thought there. I kind of lost it.
Right, I can read it. It says you're pretty
Uh,
comfortable with yourself, but you have
yeah.
a hard time letting other people in. So you really value your independence and you don't like to rely on anyone but yourself. You don't deal well with confrontation and you struggle with making yourself vulnerable. And sometimes you think relationships aren't worth the trouble.
But remember, there was one question which I answered strongly agree, which was um, where I said it says I don't really worry about my significant other leaving me. Okay,
Hmm.
I strongly disagreed with that. And then it said
Hmm.
there was one.
Let me
But
see if I can.
basically, yeah,
I can
basically,
see
I
your
want to
answer.
be. Yeah, I want to be in a relationship, right?
Hmm.
I'd rather be in a relationship than not. But at the same
Hmm.
time, I guess I think it's too much trouble, and I also am afraid of rejection. So
Hmm.
maybe I kind of take a step back and I don't pursue
Right?
potential companionship and relationships because of that. Um, but yes, but I don't necessarily see myself as completely perfect or completely confident in myself 100% though, right?
Hmm.
Um, I think what really complicates this whole thing for me, is where I am in my career. I
Hmm.
guess you know.
Yeah.
Um, I've dated many women in the past who have said who compare myself to their exes, or even uh, guys they've dated after me. You know, on a financially, whether it's they've made it on their own, or they have their family support financially. I think that's where the complication comes in. If I had a lot of money, I think I would be number one. I would end up kind of evolving into that number one, where everything is positive and I'm happy and I see everyone as thing, but only because of the circumstances, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So aside from, okay, so I understand what you're saying, but what things do you think would still be an issue for you if you were like, let's say you were where you wanted to be in your career, everything financially was fine, like everything is crisp, but what do you think would still be a problem or something that you would struggle with?
The fear of them leaving.
Right. Okay.
So let's say now I'm a millionaire, right? And I have my friends are millionaires too now, and we go out to dinner a few times a week. And my significant other finds my single friend, who's also a millionaire, a little bit more interesting than me. I will have a fear of her breaking up with me, and that's a form of that's rejection.
Right.
Right. So I think that's what I would be afraid of. I think that would be the one constant, and that falls under which category?
Rejection, that goes back to when if you were like, abandoned or neglected as a child. I have
that's your mom there?
Yeah, that's mommy.
What's up?
Oh, jeez.
How are you?
Anxious, very anxious, because you're not trustworthy. You feel like, you're not settled in your feelings for this person that they're gonna stay. You just have this anxious feeling that they're gonna leave and you're gonna be abandoned. So it's like you have a lot of trust issues. Maybe that comes with it. I think that, well, we'll see when we get on to me. But I understand what you're saying. I understand. But it's good to do these things, because even if you think like, the quiz might change if I'm in a different stage in my life. But if you think about what that one constant might be, then you look back at your childhood and you say, okay, I understand where that came from. And now that I'm aware of it, I know what I need to do. You know what I mean? So it's not like I think that, if you get to the point in your career where you want to be, and, you have someone in your life, you still might have struggles with your, emotions or being vulnerable with them. And if you ask yourself, like, where is this coming from? Why is it that I feel this way, even though I have everything that I think I need? Sometimes when you look back at your childhood, it's just that one constant that remains there, no matter how much you change over the years, if you don't deal with it. Yeah.
So does this quiz give you any kind of feedback on strategies to cope or overcome or manage these feelings?
Nope, it was something from BuzzFeed.
Okay.
And I chose this one because it was really quick and it was straight to the point, and I kind of like the scale. I always encourage people to go online, do some research for yourself. All of the information is there. Do you know what I mean? If you're really interested and you really want to help yourself, then you would do it.
Right.
So I also did a session with Dr. Alyssa Alvis, and we were talking about the different attachment styles and what you can do to just, improve yourself. And we were talking about how going to speak to a therapist is not crazy or strange. Like, I think in the Caribbean, people always feel like if you tell someone, oh, I'm seeing a psychologist, people immediately think that something's wrong with you. But I think that talking to someone professionally about problems that you're having that you don't know how to deal with is the smartest thing that anyone can do, especially couples. And you don't have to be going through a problem to go and visit someone. It could just be to become better at communicating, or fix something that you see might be going the wrong way, just to bring it back, to center it, to give the relationship the investment that it needs. Invest in the relationship. Go and see a psychologist, a therapist. It doesn't hurt.
Right.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
About seeing us getting help or seeking out help?
Or advice.
Yeah, I don't think that's a problem at all. I
Mm,
I'm not resistant to that, and I've done it in the past, here and there, one or two sessions.
hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, but I
it wasn't consistent because, it's just in terms of I didn't think it was that big of a deal to
mhm,
invest my money and set up those appointments, right? Because,
mhm.
time is money, and I only have X amount of time during the day, and it was hard to squeeze in appointments and all that. So,
Mm.
but yeah,
Yeah, I think like people usually get turned off because they're like, oh, it's so expensive, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, even if you can just go online and do the research for yourself, but if you do get into a relationship, I would say just go and talk to a therapist, see where your relationship is at, you know.
well, I've been in
Um,
relationships where I wanted to go, and the other individual kind of just laughed and said,
mm,
"No, it's not necessary."
hmm.
So,
Yeah, everyone doesn't see it the same, but my
yeah.
advice is to just go with it. Yeah. Do you want to, is it my turn now?
Yes, yeah, yeah. Do I have to, let me see how I can do this. But, all right. Let me, I totally forgot that we were both doing it. Kind of thought this was an interview. All right, hold on one second. Um,
Wait,
oops.
do you want me to send you the link? Oh, you got it.
I have it here. Okay, yeah. Let me just make sure that you can see. Okay, I worry a lot about ending up alone.
Yes, strongly agree.
How much?
All the
How
way
much are
that
we
way.
going? All the
All
way.
the way that
Wow.
way.
Yeah, I went all the way.
Well, maybe
All
maybe
right.
take it back a little bit. Wait, go back up. Just take it back a little bit because it's not that crazy.
Is that good?
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay.
All right. I don't really worry about my significant other leaving me.
Mm, I do.
Okay. You got to tell me how much, though.
Mm, halfway.
That's halfway there.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. I worry, or you worry, that your significant other doesn't love you as much as you love them.
Um, yeah, I agree. Put that halfway as well.
Okay. I've scared off partners or potential partners by trying to get too close too fast.
No, because I'm always scared to get too close too fast.
Right. So sometimes it happens at the intermediate stage of the relationship or close to the end.
Yeah, I
so,
just I
so, so
I'm
what would
scared
you,
of
right. So,
um I guess they're talking about the initial part, right? So I
yes,
would
they're
say
talking
I
about,
disagree.
so strongly disagree.
Halfway. Halfway is
Halfway.
fair. Yeah.
Okay. I have a hard time asking my significant other for help or comfort.
No, I disagree. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. So how much? All the way?
Yeah, like right there, stop. Go back a little bit.
Right
Go
there?
back, go back, go back. No, go back. Actually, no, I like because I don't like asking people for help. Um, go back.
I think I
Go
agree with
back.
you.
Yeah. Yeah, stop right there. It's fine.
Good. I think that's
Mm.
true.
No.
I think I recognize that in you. I
Yeah.
get scared of letting my significant other know my deepest feelings.
Mm, I don't get scared,
Hmm.
but I hesitate.
Okay, so you have to tell me I get scared. Hmm.
Um, Put it like towards strongly agree, I guess.
Okay, but how much?
Like it, yeah,
Right
leave it
there?
right there. Yeah, leave it
Okay.
there, I guess.
I crave emotional closeness in a relationship, but I often find myself pulling back.
Mm, I don't pull back. I find like I'm very emotional.
Hmm.
Um, I think sometimes people that I'm with, like they pull back a bit. Because I don't know, not that they pull back, but they're not as open as I am.
Right.
So I'd
So how
say
much should we?
yeah, just take it all the way to the top and then give it a little tops back. All right, come on. Right.
What month are you born in? What sign are you again? Zodiac sign.
Oh, Aries.
Oh, okay. No,
What does that mean? Oh, you
no,
and Karen.
no. It makes complete sense.
Oh, Lord.
We'll have to talk about that another time, though. That's a long-winded explanation. Being in a relationship isn't important to me. I could take it or leave it.
No, I want to be in a relationship. So I'd say I disagree. It is important to me. But at the same time, sometimes I feel like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I don't have feelings and I don't like, I
You're not
just
being
don't.
resistant. Yeah, you're not trying.
Yeah, I don't try.
So right
Yeah.
here is good?
Yep.
All right. I feel happy, loved, and totally secure in my relationship.
Yeah,
Yeah?
sometimes. For most, I'm trying to think of all of them that I've had.
Mhm.
Like I do until something happens. So how do I
Yeah,
answer
of
that?
course. I feel happy, loved, and totally secure in my relationships. Yeah, no, so before anything happens,
Yeah,
before there's
strongly agree.
before there's any clues of, anything that's
And then
changed.
bring it back a little bit, and then bring it back,
Yeah, right.
because I have trust issues, so bring it back.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Right
good.
there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then
Oh
that's it.
no.
So, wait, it didn't say, right? I gotta hit I'm done. Hold on.
Yeah, I do.
What do you think you are? What do you think you are?
Anxious something.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
no.
Anxious, preoccupied, attachment style.
What does it say?
Yeah, you desire exactly what you said earlier. You desire deep connections with others, but sometimes worry that they don't want the same from you. You
Yeah,
worry a lot
exactly.
about being alone, and you get anxious if you can't be with your romantic partners when you want to. You seek external validation, but you have a hard time accepting yourself if you don't think that others accept you.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
I say all of that is entirely true. If I'm being honest with myself, I seek validation from my mom a lot. Like
Your
probably so
mom?
tired of me. Yeah, I'm like, mommy, does this look this? Do I look like that? Da-da-da. And I go on and on and on and on. And then I do it to Karen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do it to my partners because I feel like they would take it as a sign of insecurity. So I'm only comfortable doing that with my mom and my sister,
Right. Right.
and my friends, and then we do it to each other.
Okay.
Yeah, I have trust issues, so I don't really like. I'm in a relationship, I'm happy, but I'm still more skeptical,
Right.
unfortunately. But
I'm
like
just
when you're in that honeymoon phase, you don't feel that way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Karen put
Yeah,
you on blast.
huh? Girl,
Karen
this
put you
work
on
too much.
blast.
Thanks, Karen. Yeah, I worry. That's just how I am. I'm an overthinker. Like my mind doesn't stop. I'm always thinking.
Yeah,
So
no, I know that because when you're doing my logos for me and the flyers and stuff, I've had other people do flyers and logos for me as well, right?
yeah.
But the experience I had with them was completely different to you. You seemed very unsure about your work sometimes, and you
Mhm.
also had a hard time kind of telling me like, listen, I need a little bit of time to do this, or I need some space for a few days to whatever. And I noticed it, but I mean, obviously, I was on a time sensitive project,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I noticed it too. So I'm not surprised that this is the results that you got. No offense, no, that
No,
I
it's fine. It's fine. Look, it's
yeah.
the truth. I'm doing this and I have to shamelessly expose myself and I have no problem doing that because I want to do it so that people can go and check their self as well. You understand? Because how can I expect
Yes.
other people to do it and I'm not doing it?
Correct.
You know, so this is the truth. And that's okay because I can work to improve that, you know?
Yeah. You can hear me well because I had to. I just recognized that my battery was actually pretty low. You can't hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Because I thought I could hear you. You cut out.
No, I can hear you. I was just playing.
Oh,
But yeah, yeah.
but you see, this is why, like, if you check my fitness page, sometimes I post about astrology, because although it's not an exact science, and there's no way for us to actually prove.
Tell me about Aries. Tell me what you have to tell me. Because I know that you
Well,
have something to say.
what Aries in the long term plan when it comes to relationships, they usually get the person that they actually want, right? And they're confident that they can get that person. So you will get that person, but the thing is that you do have an emotional side that where you guard yourselves because you are afraid of rejection, or
Yeah, I
you're
don't like that.
afraid of not being the spectacle
In the relationship.
in a relationship. So
Okay.
some of it is completely. I think the way you are, your default is partially based to the fact that you are an Aries, a female Aries, right? Because there's a difference between male and female.
Yeah, I would think.
But then I think the rest of it probably comes from early childhood, and
Hmm.
also some first impressionable relationship experiences. Because the
Yeah.
very first few relationships we have seem to be more impressionable. It seems as time progresses, usually you can deal with breakups a lot easier, or you can deal
Hmm.
with someone like falling asleep and forgetting to message you goodnight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
But the
deal with
very
those things
first,
easier.
yeah, but the very first set of relationships, probably the first two, everything affects you,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So that's my spiel. That's why I try to, as much as I can, although it's a fitness page, I try to incorporate the astrology because I think it's
Mm.
important.
I
So
think
to start with.
that's a good edge because like people don't really do that. Fitness and astrology. Ooh.
Listen, it's only when I was dating someone who who was kind of the polar opposite to me. Not the complete polar opposite, because the polar opposite to Aquarius would be Leo, right? But there was a lot of things that we would not align with. And I
Hmm.
took up the book one day to learn a little bit about them, and I got goosebumps. I was like, "This, everything here is that person." Then recall that my best friend is the same sign, and I did a comparison. Same thing. My mom is the same thing, and then
What month
I
was
got
this?
hmm?
What month was this?
um, this is Virgo. This is late August, September.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then it was from, I mean, I've always studied astrology since I was a kid because of my grandmother, but it was at that point that I decided that I need to start implementing it. And what I did is when I did consultations on clients, right? Fitness consultations, I have them in a room sitting down with them for about 30 minutes. And within that
Hmm.
30 minutes, I would strike up conversations or ask them other questions, and I would look at their body language or look at the way they responded. And then I would tell them through a process of elimination, I'm going to guess when your birthday is. So they will give me
Hmm.
3 months. One of those months is the correct month. And then they'll
Hmm.
give me 3 days. It could be the 1st, the 22nd, and the 8th. And one of those
Hmm.
is correct. So I would process elimination, figure out what it is. And 90% of the time, to be honest with you, probably did this on
Hmm.
like 15 people. I probably got like 12 of them correct. And then I started to do it on people that I started associating with a lot, but I didn't know their birthday. But I knew a lot
Right.
about them. And one day I did it within a family that I was very close to at the time. It was about 8 of them, and I got 7 out of 8 correct. And it was at
Impressive.
that point that I said astrology has a place, and
Hmm.
I need to. And although I can't, like, it's not an exact science, but
Mm.
it's legit.
Fair enough. Well, you
So
can convince me like more, you know what I mean? Because I'm not fully convinced because I do believe in individual differences and experiences and childhood and all these things that make a person into who they are. So astrology, yeah, I get it, but what about individual differences? Like, does that not matter? How can you categorize people into like
you're talking
different,
about
you know what I mean?
we're also talking about like nature versus nurture as well, right? That plays a role too.
Yeah.
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 It definitely does. So I just think it's the default. It's like it's the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? It's the foundation. And then everything else is built on top of that foundation. Has a lot to do with your entire natal chart. It has to do with the way you were brought up, the experiences you had. You know, that's how I look at it. So if I could find a therapist who actually implements that stuff as well within their program
Mm-hmm.
or their therapy, I would be more inclined to go to that person. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. I can understand that. Right, because it's what you believe in as well. So it's almost like, it would work for you.
Yeah.
Mm, fair enough. I don't
Question
know,
for you.
but like,
This
pardon?
first relationship, I have a question for you. You can hear me well?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, last time I did this, people couldn't hear. The first relationship.uk, this is the first time I've heard about this page when you told me to sign on and follow that page so we can link.
Mm-hmm.
What is this page about, if you don't mind me asking?
Right. So first relationship is about the first relationship that you ever had in your life, not about your first romantic relationship, but the one that you had with your caregivers or your parents, and that one that formed you into your childhood. And then as a result, the behaviors and the way that you think and all that comes out as an adult. So it's basically how our childhood affects us as adults in romantic
Right.
relationships, in finance. When you think about it, your financial decisions, what did your parents teach you about wealth? Like, where did you get these ideas about money from? Your emotional intelligence, what did they teach you to feel and to not feel? Like when you were upset, they tell you, don't get upset. When you're sad, they tell you not to be sad. But these are feelings that should have been felt, but we were taught to suppress some of them, especially boys, and more so than girls. But we won't get
Correct.
into that. And then, like your friends, your peers in society, your social class, and then your education, what school you went to, the friends that you made, if you got bullied at school. And I think that in each one of these set or categories, we were taught something in childhood from our first relationship, our caregivers, and that kind of stays with us into our adulthood if it's not changed or no one tells us different. You understand? And sometimes
Yeah.
we also have trauma that happens in our childhood, and people think like trauma is very very, very intense and very, like sexual abuse, domestic abuse. Yes, that's trauma, but trauma is also like, bullying or not being able to do something as a child and then being court. Like all these little scenarios as kids stay with us in our subconscious, and as we get older, we don't realize it, and then we kind of, our behaviors and our attitudes and the way that we think, the way that we speak, the way that we relate to other people, all of that comes from our very first relationship, our first
Yeah.
relationships as a child, as kids. So that's
Yeah.
what it's all about.
Okay, that actually makes sense. And as you're describing that to me, I'm seeing some things that I've discovered recently. Do you mind if I share it with you really quick?
Sure.
All right, so check this out. So, when I was a kid, we're talking about between 0 and 5, right? My best
Yeah.
friend down the road, was very, very alpha and dominant, and he would learn things very quickly and master them. So anything we did, whether it was video games, playing outside, whether it was interacting with other kids or anything, he would always be the leader. So I think as the years progressed, I always assumed, I assumed a role backstage. You know what I mean? I wasn't on the stage actually performing. I'm always in the back. But I remember when I was about 15 years old, we had my football team had a psychiatrist come in for about two to 3 days analyzing us. Actually, he actually analyzed us for several weeks, but we had this very intense session for 2-3 days. And at the end of it, I noticed he started talking to coach and looking at me, and I'm like, well, what's going on here? I don't like this. It's got to be something negative. At the end of the 3-day clinic, it was announced that I would be the captain of the team for that entire season.
Oh, wow.
Because apparently we did some problem solving exercises and other things, and apparently I displayed this leadership role kind of thing. And then I started to reflect, although yeah, I was taking a backseat role with my friend down the road. However, at school, within the very first few years, I was actually a bully. And I had 4 friends. I used to say, well, if you don't give me this, I'm not going to be your friend anymore. So on one end, I was confronted with being second in charge. And then at school with these more, these kids also probably suffered from low self-esteem, to be honest with you. I found a group of people that I could become the leader of. And what I realized growing up is that, yeah, there's a lot of things that I know that I have the talents or the gifts, but I never actually pursued them enough. And I never, like, even playing football, I would tackle other players, but I would never go in too rough because I was always afraid of, like, what they're going to think about me. Oh, he's an idiot for tackling me so hard, or he's a jerk or whatever. I never wanted people to think bad about me. And then I started reflecting, I started seeing it in my tone of voice. Now, another thing is, I'm very, as you know, I'm a nutritionist as well. So I'm very careful of how I eat. But my grandmother used to always talk about food as a kid. Oh, don't cut the fat off the chick, cut the fat off the lamb. You can get a heart attack. Don't eat that. That's bad for you. Don't do that. Don't do that. So I grew up very, like, holding a lot of tension when it came to food or going out to have fun with friends. Like, I could never let myself go enough. And then when it came to money too, I don't want to get too much into that, but I have a belief system that is very, like, I'm like, okay, I can never make this much money because of what I saw around me too. And I had a very early loss in the family, and that person was basically the one bringing in all the money. I was really good at it too. So I saw my family go from here to down here by the time I was like 6 years old. You understand? And it's only, it slowly climbed back up with some of my family members, and with others it just kind of plateaued, and because of that trauma that happened up here. So there's a lot of things I've been reflecting. You know, I go into the infrared sauna and I sit there for an hour and I say, well, why do I do this? Why do I do this thing with my lips? Why do I think like that? Why do I get a high and then all of a sudden get a low? A lot of what you're saying right now resonates, and I really believe it's true. And I think people need to dive deeper into these things.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't, I would not be on this. I would not even be on this live with you. I'd be like, hell no, I'm not the person to do this live with.
But I feel like it's true. You and I'm really happy that you shared that with me, because I feel like other people I think that we have a lot in common, and everyone has a lot in common, and it's only until that we start to share with each other that we become closer and we realize, like, okay, I'm not alone, or you know what, I'm not the only person that feels this way. So I really thank you so much for sharing, and I'm happy that you're at a place where you can do this shamelessly and understand how much it will help other people as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for today, Ben. I really appreciate it.